Connect was founded by Mike Butcher and Jeff Lynne because they realised that no one was really standing up for startups in the political debates that were going on back in 2010, 2011 around the Digital Economy Bill. It was the big content owners and the big internet companies that were really dominating the political discussions, and there was no one really standing up for the little guy. We published our Startup Manifesto today. It's 9 months until the general election, so now is the perfect time to be influencing the debate. All the political parties are sitting down, they're thinking about what to put in their manifestos and have policy processes going on. They're going to launch some announcements at party conferences, there's the autumn statement, and then there's the last few months rush to the election. So now's the time we need to be making our voices heard as the startup community for what we want from the next government. Our attempt at doing that, and I'm absolutely delighted at the response we've had. We've now got over 200 of the UK's leading startup founders, investors, VCs, and other people from the community. These are just some of the people who backed us. We're still adding names to our list on our website. And what happens next and how can you help? We're going to be taking this to all the politicians and saying, look, this is what startups want. This is how we can best support the digital economy in the next parliament. I set out the 5 big challenges for the next government, 5 kind of demands, which is to improve access to finance. The next big issue is about improving access to talent, and so on that side, it's about radical immigration reform to make it much easier both to attract entrepreneurs to come found in the UK and also to allow startups to hire from overseas. Another interesting idea on the skills side, I think, is providing tax incentives to startups who are willing to help train teachers and students who want to help teach people to code. So I suggest a national insurance tax break for startups that do that, and that makes it easier for the startups to hire someone, but also help to close the skills gap that we're really facing in the UK. Joining me this evening are Eileen Burbage, who's a partner at Passion Capital, one of the UK's leading investors in very early stage companies. We've got Gerard Breck, CEO of Texas UK, who comes at this from a sort of tech policy and tech community angle, and Tyler Hidricus, co-founder of TransferWise, one of the leading startups in the UK. I'm really thrilled to have them all with us tonight and looking forward to hearing what they have to say.
My personal experience from having been in the Bay Area from 1993 to 2003, sort of showed me what was possible from really aspirational founders and a fantastic ecosystem. And for me, now that I'm here, there's basically no reason that I can see that London shouldn't be able to better that or actually do that in even more sectors than just sort of tech startups because of the assets that are innate to London and the UK.
We're all about accelerating development of ecosystems around the UK because we simply believe that the UK is the best place to start and grow a digital business. The fact that we endorse visas, for example, for high growth businesses to bring in talent from outside the EU to help them with that growth.
So I think it's really important for all the startups to come together one cause and to have one platform to go forward and talk about the issues that are important to us and to make sure there's a coherent voice heard. So really good to see that we put this manifesto together and very happy to help in pushing this forward over the coming months to the various events. 8% of the UK is digital, which is the leading number in the world, and we're seeing that this number will grow to about 16 in 2020. And seeing that there's a government that is listening to startups and trying to think about what to do to make this a much more favorable environment for startups is really important. Okay, right now is definitely the leading place for startups in Europe. Coming from my fintech experience, we can really look at what can we do on the regulatory side in London, and also given that London is part of the union, how can we influence also the policy on all over the European Union. Fintech is regulated for good reasons, but that's often a barrier for startups and something which we can do things to make it easier. And think about how can we in general think about making finance much more transparent for consumers, which is something which consumers can win a lot from.
What we have in London is fantastic because you have people here that pull from all over the continent as well as other areas of the world, literally because of where London is based. You have people who have come here from all over because they want to be in a very international city, and so that just pulls from many different cultures and many different perspectives, and I think has the sort of gives you the asset value to build more interesting and valuable companies. The government, as Talbot was saying, this administration certainly, but even administrations before, have been very supportive of high growth sectors and have done things like introducing tax relief, like EIS, SEIS, entrepreneurs tax relief, R&D tax credits, even setting up things like BIS or the British Business Bank, which support programs such as enterprise capital funds. I think all of those things are fantastic. Tech is an opportunity to leverage and maximize. I also believe the UK has a natural advantage in sort of defense, cybersecurity, infosec, and I think there are other areas such as healthcare. I'm not saying the NHS is brilliant, but it is a centralized database, good or bad, and that offers lots of opportunities for thinking about, and also obviously a great pharmaceutical heritage, thinking about opportunities in medtech and health tech. And then there is, of course, design heritage that the UK has and quality of product.
I am certainly excited about the crossover and the permutations that you get as a result of having technology crossover into other business verticals. So that's truly unique in London. And the time zone, the language, the fact that the UK is part of the EU, and therefore that means that the talent pool is 550 million people that you can choose from, which is comparable versus the US, where the population is 330 million. I'd like to see more being done by universities. It's challenging. It can be challenging in finding, good computer scientists that have the skills that we need. And I think that's a good example. And I think that's where universities need to step up. Universities have to keep pace with the changes in the in terms of the computer languages, the computer tools, the computer programming assets that they need to keep up with.
A massive round of applause and thanks to our panelists. Do stay in touch, let's keep this conversation going, let's try and get the manifesto to effect some change.